Good morning, everybody. Steve Moran here with the BTC guru, Douglas Yates.
Hello, hello.
And we're going to be here today talking about all things Bitcoin, blockchain, digital currencies and stuff. And today we're going to talk about a little bit about currency and a little about money. What's the news today, Doug?
Yeah, it's still in the news that all the institutions that are pouring into Bitcoin. We talked about it yesterday and then a little last week, but I'll just hit it briefly. There's about $1 trillion of incoming into cryptocurrency, mainly Bitcoin, over these next 60 days. And I got another headline I'll share with you. Let me share my screen here. And the market cap for all cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, yesterday, on the 6th, 2 days ago, it soared past $2 trillion. Wow.
I guess this isn't a fad, huh, Doug?
No, yeah, it's not a fad. Then remind me, I got a story on that from a guy I talked to yesterday. It basically puts cryptocurrency valuation the same as Apple, which is the second largest, most valuable company in the world, and makes cryptocurrency the third largest currency in the world, with US dollar being first, and you have to look up who's second. But it's just absolutely amazing what the growth that's happening. Bitcoin's growing. A lot of the altcoins are growing. The altcoins are basically anything other than Bitcoin,
right,
because Bitcoin's the king of the hill. Let me stop sharing my screen here.
And Bitcoin owns about basically half of that market too, right? Bitcoin's about $1 trillion valuation just on Bitcoin alone.
Absolutely, yeah. When it hits, well, right now it's at 58.7, and it's 1.08 trillion market cap of it by itself.
Yeah, I mean, what companies in the world are bigger than $1 trillion?
There's Apple and Amazon, and that's it.
That's it, right? It's two.
And they keep going back and forth between 1 and 2, and now cryptocurrency is right there.
It's amazing. And what's that going to do to that market cap if another $1 trillion comes in from Wall Street, like we're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. And then what we showed you yesterday, the people that are very plugged into Bitcoin, saying 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion is nothing for the market cap. 100 trillion is more likely what's going to be in the near future. When I say near future, we're talking months to just a year or so, which is, the growth is right here in front of us. Best time to get in is now. That's why we're doing these streams out here, to just basically shout as loud as we can and let people know about Bitcoin. I had a buddy yesterday. I can tell a quick story, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I had a buddy yesterday. He's been dancing around Bitcoin for a while. I mean, hasn't pulled the trigger yet. He kind of got scared. He's like, "What if they outlaw it?" I go, "Well, India has been trying to do that for about 7 years, and and so did China. And every time they do it, trillions of dollars leaves instantly out of their marketplace. So then they go, no, we're not serious about that." And with J.P. Morgan, the Mellon Bank, Merrill Lynch, all the Treasury,
Goldman Sachs,
yeah, all moving in. I basically consider that insurance that it's not going anywhere. It's not being outlawed. It's here to stay. It's a great storage of wealth. It's the only thing that offsets the inflationary growth of the dollar, which is, the dollar still is the king of the world, whether you believe it or not. It's still the main currency. But Bitcoin is basically, I think it's going to, in my mind, replace it, because there's no better storage of wealth. I'll throw it back to you, Steve.
Well, it's I think it all comes down to really the evolution of currency. It's basically currency is evolving for a lot of different reasons. I put together a little video here that kind of goes through the story of evolution of currency. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes, but I think you guys out there might like this, because a lot of people really don't, know kind of how it's all evolved. So let's take a look at this, and we'll be back after that. Many things have been used as currency. Livestock was one of the first forms of currency. It makes sense, as a milk cow is essentially a dividend-paying asset. But cows are not easy to trade, or divide for that matter. So the evolution of money continued. Eventually, the world learned to extract metals from the ground, and those metals became the basis for our monetary systems. In ancient China, the Zhou dynasty used metal gardening spades for currency. Other societies relied on lead, copper, silver, and gold coins. Metals work good as currency for thousands of years. They're useful, easily transferable, and divisible, and they offer the possibility of an increase in value. Eventually, bankers realized that they could use paper to represent those metals. Paper bills were far easier to transfer and spend than coins were. In 1875, the United States began printing money. Instead of backing the money with nothing but empty promises, each bill came with a legal contract printed on the front that said, "Redeemable in gold on demand at the United States Treasury." Because of that legal guarantee, the United States dollar became the most valuable currency in the world. The American economy boomed, and the United States became the one true global superpower. But Washington didn't like it. Its ties to gold limited its size and scope. It hacked away at the power of big government. It wasn't until 1971, almost 200 years after the fathers founded our country, that the hard asset period ended. That's when President Richard Nixon stunned the world when he removed this legal contract that the dollar could be exchanged for gold. Known as the Nixon shock, this ushered in the pure fiat money phase of American currency. Today's bills say nothing about gold, but instead are backed merely by the word of our political leaders, which isn't worth much. I think you'd agree. And this simple change to no longer back our currency with gold allowed the government to completely transform the way it does business. No longer did it need to restrict its spending, borrowing, and money printing to the amount of gold it had stored in the treasury. Now it had access to virtually unlimited credit and money. The power of big government was unlimited. Money literally meant nothing in Washington. Since the Nixon shock, both the amount of money printed and the amount of money borrowed has spiraled out of control. Debt exploded and the value of the dollar collapsed. And that's led us to where we are today, where once again, big government and the economy it created is desperately struggling to survive. We're a nation with a government that's deeply in debt, with a rapidly depreciating currency and a banking system that nearly imploded just a few years ago. Thanks to Washington's manipulation, the American economy since balanced on the edge of a cliff. By the time they're done printing and spending the next $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, the U.S. government will have increased our money supply by 40% in the last 12 months alone. This means the dollars in your pocket or bank account are worth 40% less than they were a year ago. Now let's compare that to Bitcoin. Elon Musk, who's currently the richest man in the world and the CEO of Tesla, says Bitcoin is now the most valuable currency in the world. And he put his money where his mouth is and purchased $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and said Tesla would start accepting Bitcoin for purchase of its automobiles. A year ago, you could have purchased one Bitcoin for about $5,300. Today, that same Bitcoin is about $53,000. Now, why is Bitcoin going up by 10x a year while the value of a dollar has dropped by 40%? It all comes down to supply and demand. While the U.S. government will continue to print dollars by the trillions, there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins, ever. According to Buy Bitcoin Worldwide, as of February 2021, only 100 million people in the entire world own any fraction of Bitcoin. That equates to just 1.3% of the entire global population. That's it's pretty relevant, don't you think, Doug? Hello, you're muted, bud. Can I hear you?
Yeah, sorry about that.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, totally relevant. It's that COVID package is eye opening, at least to me and a lot of people that are in my association. Almost instantly, it costs 40% more for everything. Gas is going up, groceries are going up. It's costing more and more. And my personal buying power, I work the same hours every week.
Right.
And I earn that money, and now that with that same amount of effort, I'm buying less.
Yeah,
with the U.S. dollars.
It's amazing. I mean, I went out. I finally realized the other day I went and filled up my car, and it was like $4.65 a gallon for gas.
Yeah, crazy.
Where I'm at, San Diego, it's like, are you kidding me? And
the United States has the largest oil reserve in the world, and we should not be that way. But that's another subject we can talk about a different day. But Bitcoin, its value is going up on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and so my buying power with Bitcoin is going up, and it's offsetting that, which is, finally there's an answer for this crazy inflationary, which is man-made and man manipulated, there's an offset to that. And it's Bitcoin.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's interesting because if you think about it, we were comparing like Bitcoin and what its value is compared to, Apple. Okay.
Right.
Companies out there can go do stock splits and different things like that. And all of a sudden, they're just make more stock, right? They just print more, just like governments print more money. And, you can't do that with the Bitcoin. Okay. So, you're always going to have that finite amount. And anytime you've got a finite amount of something, you're going to have people clamoring for it. And, I don't know about you. I know a lot of guys that are, millionaires and, ego driven kind of guys, which are a lot of your alpha males that become really successful. Right. And I can't imagine here, in the next few years, I mean, you're going to have so many millionaires go, you know what? I want to have at least one Bitcoin in my portfolio.
Yeah.
I just want to have one. And only 21 million people can say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
amazing. And let me butt in just a second. And let's, if you're coming on for the first time and seeing us, you might be going and new to Bitcoin. You might like, hey, what's a Bitcoin? What's this all about? I remember I had the exact same questions when I first jumped into it. And it was really hard, there's only one Bitcoin, but if I don't spend the whole thing, what happens to the rest of it? There's stuff like that are questioned. And Bitcoin is just basically a digital currency, a digital dollar for, it's not a dollar, but it's a digital currency that's stored digitally, just like your bank account now is stored. A lot of us don't carry cash anymore. We carry our debit cards, and our bank accounts are all numbers, right? And that's basically what Bitcoin is. And it's not only it's a currency, it's also a storage of wealth. So it's like digital gold. There's another term that a lot of people use for it. And the original concept was to break this one Bitcoin up into 100 million little teeny pieces, which is called Satoshis. And that's where you basically, you don't have to spend a Bitcoin, or you don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin. You can buy a small portion of a Bitcoin called Satoshis. And let's say, Bitcoin's worth $60,000 and you want to use some of it to buy something that's $6. Well, then you'll get back all the Satoshis. The $6 will go away, and then you'll have, 0.94 of a Bitcoin. And that's how that works.
It's not like when you go to the store and you give them $1 and they give you 99 cents back. And then by the time you get up out of your chair in the evening, you lost 40 cents or 50 cents in the couch somewhere, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
You won't have it falling out of your pockets, at least, right? It's going to always stay there and always be there.
So can you walk everyone through, like, how do you acquire your first Bitcoin? Is it easy to do?
I think that, I had a friend of mine, I've had a couple of friends that I've actually gone through and showed how to do this. I think that the easiest way to do it is to get the Cash App on your phone. Okay. The Cash App works really, really well. You just download the Cash App, and then what you do is you go in and you connect your bank account to the Cash App. It takes about 30 seconds is all it takes to do. And then you can go and just instantly transfer money from your bank account directly into your Cash App. And when you get the Cash App, as soon as you get it, you'll be able to fill out some information to where they'll send you out a debit card. Okay, which is pretty cool. So then the money that's sitting on your card, you can use that either for your debit card, or you can go right over and you can just buy Bitcoin with it right there. So you can buy, keep cash in there. You can have your Bitcoin in there. And then, you can send it to wherever you need to do. I use Bitcoin a lot. I'm sending it all the time. And I really, really enjoy the simplicity of it. And the fact that you can move it around, and then you can just, like I said, you put it right there on a thing where you can go use your MasterCard or debit card and go spend it however you really want to. So
it's that easy. That's amazing.
It really is. It really is that easy.
Hey, so and I want to remind people, they might be thinking, well, how do I carry around these Bitcoins? Are they physical things? And no, it's a digital currency. So it's stored in a digital wallet. And that's basically what they call it, wallet.
It's just like your bank, literally, right? We've all got a banking app on our phone, right?
Absolutely.
And with your banking app, what you do is you can get up there and you can go spend money. You can send money around, and it's all digital. It's digital money, right? It literally, it's, you're just sending things around, the money's right. It's pretty much the same exact thing. It's just another app on your phone.
Yeah, and the beauty of it, it's very, very, very secure.
Very secure. I mean, you see the government fighting about cracking people's iPhones open if the FBI can't get into them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
they're pretty secure, right?
They call it a cryptocurrency for a reason. The first word is cryptology, and there is basically a very well designed cryptology to this your wallet that keeps it secure. And everything is stored what's called on a blockchain. And all that means is it's a digital ledger. So if you ever done a checkbook register, it's the same thing. You got entries that increase your balance, and then you got entries that decrease your balance. And you'd log all those things. That's all the blockchain is. It's a ledger of that, and it's completely visible to everybody in the world. And everybody has the same copy of it. So there's computers out there that authenticate every transaction that happens with Bitcoin. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's cool that now the other thing about Bitcoin wallets that a lot of people should probably understand, like if you use Cash App, like I was talking about before, then you're still kind of at the mercy of Cash App because they still actually have your Bitcoin. Okay. That's not actually in your own wallet. Okay. So, I would suggest that you go get there's a lot of great wallets you can get out there. Your Jack's Liberty, blockchain.com, those kinds of things. You can get those apps and put them directly on your phone. And now you really have access to your money directly right there. A lot of people believe in having the little wallets, okay, like your little USB wallets and things like your ledgers and things like that. Wallet.
Yeah,
right. So a lot of people like to do that. Whichever way you want to go. The thing about it is, if you buy a wallet like that, I think this is one of the things we talked about yesterday. You make sure that if you buy a wallet, you buy a hard wallet where you're going to put things, buy it from the retailer or buy it from a very, very reputable dealer. There are a lot of people go out onto eBay, and they want to go get a deal. And people will go buy these brand new ones. They'll open them up. They'll take a picture of the 20-digit code, okay, your recovery code, and then they'll just put it away for a year and wait for somebody to have a whole bunch of money on there, and then they can go recover and take all of that money. So, those are some of the things you really got to watch. The little nuances about this game that you want to make sure that you are always protecting, what it is you're trying to accumulate, in the form of wealth.
Yeah, it's the same thing as your PIN number. You don't want to show people your PIN number when you're popping it in at the gas station or at an ATM and such. You got to keep that secure. And if you take the proper steps, which we're here to help, everybody we can talk to take the proper steps. It could change your life. And the knowledge that you can learn through this, and the people that you can rub shoulders and elbows with, they're amazing people out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Doug, I think we all got to agree. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
And that's the thing is by there, all of these things with the currency models changing, with the evolution of the blockchain. I mean, the blockchain, I guess the best way to put it to people that don't understand what it's kind of like when the internet got here, right? A lot of people are like, what? We're going to be buying stuff on computers, and nobody can really understand how that all worked. Okay. Yeah. And a lot of people thought that the internet was going to be a fad. Right. And, that proved to not be the case. And the blockchain is going to be the same thing. So whether we like it or not, the blockchain, the digital currency is kind of is to the blockchain what email is to the internet. Okay. Type of a thing, and it's something here that's going to be, kind of a big part of all of our lives, but none of us are going to school anymore. Right. Most of us are out of school. Okay. Right. So, we got to figure out where we're going to learn this stuff. Okay. Because if you learn it, first of all, there are going to be a lot of tremendous financial opportunities, not only with Bitcoin, but with a lot of other altcoins and digital coins and things that are going to be coming out down the road.
Yep.
But there's going to be a lot of things, but you're not going to be able to take advantage of those kinds of things if you're not educated about them. So that's what we're here for, is to kind of help with that whole process.
Yes. And if you want to learn more, put in your comments, contact us, go to the website that you see on the screen here, and we could help you plugged into a beautiful educational system that can take you, in baby steps as far as you want to go, and help you really learn this new era. You're going to have to, because it is the future. Blockchain, Bitcoin is the future.
It is the
of
future.
finance.
And you know what? We've got some great opportunities where you can actually, earn Bitcoin while you learn about Bitcoin and digital currencies and the blockchain. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. We can be talking about that and hear some of our future upcoming broadcasts here.
Yeah, amazing. And when we share in our stories, Steve and I are battled veterans in the entrepreneurial world, and we've been through it all, the ups, the downs, and the ups again, and the downs again, and then the ups, and it keeps going. We're here to share our knowledge and pass it on and help whoever we can. Small business, at least in my, small business people are my passion. Entrepreneurs are my passion. And I want to help you guys, because you're the heart of America, the heart of the world. Small business runs the world in the economy. The big corporations think they do it, but it's actually the bulk of the employment's done all by small business, basically, right, Steve?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's and we've got there's so many things that are happening. I've been an entrepreneur for 40 years, and one of the things that self-education has become such a big thing, and that's what we're really talking about here is self-education.
Yeah.
The way people are learning is different than what they used to. People are frustrated. You don't want to go to learn from a teacher so much anymore that's teaching you theories. You want to learn from somebody who's actually doing it and doing what you want to do and has the knowledge that you want to obtain, right?
Yep.
Self-education is an amazing industry. It's $330 million a day business right now that Forbes says is going to be $1 billion a day by 2025. And I can't think of anything that would be more kind of driven to talk about in the self-education area than, blockchain, digital currency, and Bitcoin, because these are things that, nobody out there nobody knows about yet. Everybody still has to understand and kind of figure out how it's going to affect their lives moving forward. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Amazing. It's life changing. And, from my own personal experience, I can definitely, and I'll share the story someday. It definitely is life changing. It can completely turn you around. It can take you places that you don't even know that you could even went to. It's amazing. I love this. I love this new era. I love this blockchain. I love this Bitcoin. I love where this is going. I think this train is it's a bullet train. So you better get on the next stop as soon as you get in there and stay on, because it's the future is very, very bright. We got to wear shades, basically.
There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna tell this story real quick here, because we got quite a few people that are still watching. So I thought, we don't know what we don't know, right? And so it was probably about 5 years ago that I actually really started to get involved in this industry, and I only did because my son, who's he's 37 now, very, very smart guy. He calls me up one day and he says, "Dad," he says, "you need to take a look at this investment I'm doing." He says, "I want you to take a look at it." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And he says, "It's a thing called Ripple, this XRP." And I'm like, "Okay, well, tell me about it." And he goes, "It's 7 cents." And I'm like, 7 cents? Like, what is it, a penny stock? When I grew up, that's penny stocks is what he was talking about. And he says, no, Dad, it's a digital currency. He says, you gotta check it out. He says, go over to this place called Bitstamp and, put your deposit in, and, it's going to take a couple of days, and then call me back. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I go over and do that. And, it literally takes 2-3 days, I think, before I even got approved over there. Yeah. And I call him back and I look at it, that thing was 11 cents then. And I call him back and I say, "Hey, David, did I miss it?" And he's like, no, Dad, just, throw a couple grand at it. Just do it, So I'm like, okay, I will. And, within like 10 days, it was at like 30 cents and it went up to 50 cents and 60 cents. And, by Christmas time, it was like up over $2. And we got out of it a little bit before then, but I mean, the amount of money that we made in a short amount of time on things it was like crazy. And it was something I had no idea about it. And obviously once I saw what was happening, okay, now what is this? And you started to figure out, what does Ripple do? What are they really all about? And you start looking at all the things out there, you realize that there's some just amazing opportunities out there. It's kind of like, a lot of investors, get rich here in the world previously with IPOs, right?
Right.
Initial public offerings, where, in digital currencies, they're ICOs, their initial coin offerings. And, there's just so many different things. It's just the parallels there's so many parallels, but, heck, I'm 61 years old. Where am I going to learn this stuff? Okay.
Right.
I mean, if I didn't have a kid who's a real bright kid in his 30s that was learning it and basically teaching it to me, I wouldn't even know about it. I'd just be sitting here right now, just going, yeah, I certainly would be on this show talking to you right now. That's
right.
for sure. So it's like we gotta kind of keep our antenna up and pay attention to the things that are going on out there, because if we don't, we're going to miss all the opportunities that we could possibly, be able to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bitcoin is the largest opportunity I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm right behind you, Steve. I'm 56, and so I've seen a lot of stuff. I've been running software companies since I was 15 years old. It's seen it all, and this, to me, other than the invention of the computer, I can't think of anything else that's as big. The launch of the internet was pretty big, but this is 1,000 times bigger than that. And
only because we got to piggyback on the internet. Because if we didn't, we would have never, we could have never even known how this would work, right?
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
We would have all been reading about it in a newspaper, which means that's the thing about this, because of this connected age that we live in now. Okay, it's like now the internet's been here for 20 plus years, right? And, so now it's like the blockchain is going to kind of drive everything to the next. It's like the second level of the internet, the evolution, of the internet, right? All the smart contracts. I mean, you can buy the things you can buy with Bitcoin. You can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. You can buy houses. You can pretty much buy
anything with Bitcoin.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I've been having clients for years. It's, I'll tell, hey, I'll give you a 10% discount. You can pay for my coaching and consulting fees, with Bitcoin.
I do the exact same.
And it's,
I think it was in 2015. It was the first transaction with Bitcoin. It was in New York. A guy, a tech, basically a tech head, an IT guy, was mining Bitcoin, had all these Bitcoins, and he wanted a pizza. And so he gave the pizza guy, Papa John's Pizza, which I don't know if that's the best, but well. Gave him, pretty sure it was 25,000 Bitcoins for one pizza. And that was the first transaction that happened, and it set the value of Bitcoin. And ever since then, it's been growing. Yeah.
It's amazing the stories about people that, got involved, so early, because you could have got it so. I mean, I had heard about it, way before I ever actually got involved in it. And I know, that cost me just millions of dollars. God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
if you put $100 in 2010, it's worth like $6 million today.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I think we should wrap this up and go back to what we led with, and that's the market cap. It's at $1 trillion right now. And right. we showed some articles in yesterday's show, and go find our show yesterday and watch it. It's a good show. That the market cap is going to grow, but the people that are involved, like the CEO of MicroStrategies, 100 trillion, no problem. It's going to be there in the probably a year, maybe 2-3 years, maybe 4 years. But it's going to get there. So you just take $100 right now, and you just move the decimal points, because it's at 1 trillion now. It goes to 10 trillion. Now your $100 is 1,000. Yeah. And it goes to 100 trillion. Now your 100,000 is 10,000. So your $100 is $10,000, which that's an incredible return. And it's really
what else you can? I mean, if you put it into this, you can put some of it into this. You can always take it back out, but it's like if it's sitting in your bank, what's it doing? I mean, right. That's again, that's kind of like why Tesla put $1.5 billion they buy worth of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Look, all these other giant companies out there that are sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars in cash in the bank.
Yeah.
And that cash is just getting worth less and less. Every time the government prints more money, your cash is getting less. I mean, if I was a shareholder, what are we doing sitting on all that cash? Why don't we buy some Bitcoin?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's actually, and then we'll go over that in the near future. There are a ton of companies that are adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets. And the boards are actually not only encouraging it, it's almost a necessity, because Apple has almost 100 billion, maybe 200 billion in cash.
In cash. Right?
So I read an article, this was 3 years ago, that if they stop making any money, like they just basically stop generating revenue, they could run their company at the current rate for another 25 years just off their cash.
Right.
Okay. And so imagine that cash devaluating. You know, it used to devaluate 3% a year. Now that's been accelerated. It's going 15, 16, sometimes 18% a year. And so their books look worse each year, which means they got to make their revenue go even higher each year to just keep their balance sheets balanced. Or
it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, with when Tesla did it, I think he ended up putting it was about 3%, 3 or 4% of their cash reserves that he put into Bitcoin, you know? Yeah. So I mean, in that example,
only.
What's that?
$1.5 billion, only 3%. Crazy.
Yeah, it's only 3%. Okay, like, you know, I mean, it's the same thing. And so why wouldn't any of your big companies, I mean, your shareholders, okay, when they have these board meetings, they're going to be sitting there going, hey, what about this? How come we're still sitting on all this cash? How come we don't divest some of our cash and put it into into Bitcoin for sure? Because, you know, it's going to go up in value.
Yep, absolutely.
And so it's going to keep happening over and over and over again. And that moves the market big because we're going to be getting to a point here. We're already kind of at a point. There's way more people buying than there is selling, right?
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yes, exactly. In fact, it's really hard to find sellers of Bitcoin right now. I showed, I think it was on Thursday last week, I showed a headline. There's a interview with a gentleman that started a fund up in Canada. It was like a mutual fund type of deal, and it's Bitcoin only. And this is not his first fund. It's, you know, he's done 3 or 4 of these things. But he says he's never seen this. He started the 1st of February, and as of last week, nobody has sold anything. It's only been inflows, no outflows, which is basically unheard of in the mutual fund type of world. There's always outflows. Even a brand new fund on day 2, there's outflows. There's somebody that says, hey, I want my money back. Or, hey, I want to sell it, so something happened in my life or whatever. No outflows, zero.
Yeah, that's the only way you can get this is you got to be able to get it from somebody who's selling it.
Yeah.
There's not like a place where you just go buy the Bitcoin that's just sitting there that nobody owns.
Right. So, Steve, if you own something that I want and you're like, I'm not selling it, and I just keep upping the price, and then I up the price to, let's say I want your house, and your house is worth $1 million, right? But you love that house. You're like, I'm retiring in this house. I'm never leaving that house. And I say, I will give you $10 million for that house. You might think about that, right? You might, okay, go ahead. So now that house is not worth $1 million anymore. It's worth $10 million because I set the value. I was willing to pay that for it because I wanted it. And the same thing's happening in the Bitcoin right now.
Right. And when you get all this big giant institutional money that comes in and wants to buy, it's like, where are they buying it? I mean, I'm not selling mine. You're not selling yours. Who's selling?
Yep. It's growing. It's growing. Yes, that's why it's growing. Just watch the price. First of all, go get some Bitcoin. And hey, Steve and I are not giving you financial advice here. We're not financial advisors. We're just entrepreneurs, and we're sharing our experiences. But, we strongly encourage all our friends and all our associates, that people that we know, just go get some Bitcoin. And Steve told you how to do it. Just go get that Cash App. Go try it. And and then contact us. We can totally help you and help you increase your education on this.
You know, I mean, you'd be surprised. There's so many friends, so many people that you know probably that have wanted to get some Bitcoin, but they just don't know where to get it. They don't know how to get it. You know, I tell the story. I'll tell it again. You know, when I played golf a few months ago, it was about 9 months ago with a good friend of mine I've known for 30 years. And, you know, took a couple $100 from on the golf course. And, you know, he wanted to send me Venmo. And I'm like, dude, you still haven't bought any Bitcoin yet, have you? And he's like, no. And I made him get the Cash App. I walked him through it just like I told you guys just a while ago. And he downloaded it, connected his bank. I said, all right, buy $5,000 worth of Bitcoin right now. Just buy it. And so he did. He buys the $5,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then he, settled up on our wager. He bought it. It was right around 8,000 when he bought it. I mean, it's over 56 now. I mean, that's 7 times your money. Yeah. He's got like 35 grand sitting in there now. So it's like,
best 5,000 he ever spent.
Yeah. I mean, he spent $5,000, and it's like, I mean, heck, it's great now. Now he buys me golf rounds and all kinds of cool stuff too. Yeah. It's kind of like,
So
but,
get out there,
yeah,
get a couple of $100 of Bitcoin. Just
yeah. I mean, I watched a good video yesterday from Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, where and he was talking about how he's bought silver and he's bought gold, and held it for since from the 50s and 60s, right?
Right.
But he said there's nothing like Bitcoin. There's just nothing like it. Mark Cuban was talking about it the other day. He says he's not a real big Bitcoin proponent, but 60% of his digital currency is Bitcoin, and
right.
And then the 30% is Ethereum, so
he didn't like it, but 8 months ago.
No, but you know what? They changed their tune, don't they? Because you know what? They understand the value of money. When you start to finally, I mean, to me, you don't really have to figure it out. Once you know that it's on a secure network and nobody can get it and it's all right there and there's only going to be 21 million, it's like, that there's going to be value there. You got to know that because it can't depreciate. That's the whole thing. And the fact that you can just buy little portions of it, you can buy $5 worth of Bitcoin if you want,
Yeah. I think you made an incredible point right there. It can't depreciate. That's a proper way to say it. It will fluctuate, but it will not depreciate.
No, it's never going to depreciate. Okay. I mean, how would it depreciate? Like if the internet blew up, it's like, I don't know. I mean,
if
that happens, everything's in trouble.
If we couldn't do anything digital in this digital day and age, life would stop.
But I mean, it's serious. It can't go. It might fluctuate, but it's never going to go. It's never going to depreciate. It's never going to go backwards. Okay, especially as more and more this money comes in. I mean, I honestly still believe that by the end of the year, we're going to see $100,000 plus price for Bitcoin.
Oh, I think it's going to happen by the summer. So
I think it could happen a lot sooner.
I'm not the only one saying that. You just go on the internet. You just start reading the headlines out there. There's people.
I got a whole lot of people that are a whole lot smarter than me saying that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Hey, hey, Steve, I'd go copyright that saying it's not going to depreciate. It'll fluctuate, but it won't depreciate. You got to go trademark that. That's good. I like that.
Well, good. We got a good stuff. We've had a lot of people here on the show. You know what, guys? We're here. If you got comments, if you got questions, please type in your questions in. We'll do our best to get back to you on those questions and answer those. If you like the content, please share it. Tell some others about the show. Doug and I are planning on doing this. We're going to try and be doing it Monday through Friday, about 8 a.m. Pacific time, somewhere there and abouts. And if you like the page, then when we go live, you'll be sent a notification that we're going live, so you can get on with us and we can kind of walk you through this. There's a whole big breadth of things to learn out there in this space, and it's kind of like going to college. Literally, there's just so many facets of this to learn, and there's so many things so much value that you can create, with it by learning. So
absolutely,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. So that was a great show today, Doug. You got anything else you want to add before we close out?
No, man, just go. Hey, do what Steve said. Go out there and get some Bitcoin. Get a couple $100 of Bitcoin right now.
All right, guys. Well, we will be back tomorrow. We hope to see you then. And until then, make it a great day and go get yourself some Bitcoin.
Take care.